Welcome, everybody. Glad you could come on this really rainy, windy, horrible day. So it's a good thing that we are able to do things virtually in the state of Florida. That's one of the benefits we have. I'm Gail Lofgren, if you don't know me, president of the Longboat Key Chamber, and we welcome you to our second day of our 22nd annual Longboat Key Chamber Observer Media Group Small Business Week. We're happy that you came. We hope that you learn a whole lot. I'm sure you will. Before we start, let me thank our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor is the Observer Media Group. We've had a really great partnership with them for many, many years regarding Small Business Week, and so we really appreciate their continued participation. Our supporting sponsors are Canis Marina, Casa del Mar Beach Resort, Lepensi Plumbing, Pools and Air, Raymond James and Associates, Michael Vange, and Total Air Solutions. We also appreciate the Holiday Inn Lido Beach for being our host hotel. They've been a wonderful partner for the last couple of years also for this week. 5-Star Audio Visual. Paul Clausen is here and he helps us with all of our audio visual needs. And SCORE, which we are using their webinar platform. So we really appreciate all of the people who help us do what we try to do every year to help our small business community. So let me give you a brief introduction of our speakers today. Pardon me while I put my glasses on so I can read. Emily Walsh is the publisher of the Longboat, East County, Sarasota, and Siesta Key Observers, Season Magazine, Lakewood Ranch Life Magazines, YourObserver.com, with the Observer Media Group, which is a family-owned multimedia company that publishes 11 newspapers, 3 magazines, 7 websites, mobile app, and multiple social channels in Florida. And I can remember when they came into Longboat Key many, many years ago and had just the Observer. So they have really done a really great job in expanding their empire. And Emily ran the Observer's digital operations for 7 years, and she was the social editor for 8 years. Nabil Frage is worked for several large and small companies in several engineering and management positions. He is skilled in all aspects of running a small business, including finance, operations, marketing, sales, and other digital channels. Nabil is a retired CEO of Global Vision International, and he is also a certified SCORE mentor. So we look forward to hearing from both of our speakers. Nabil, we will start with you first.
Great, Gail. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. Good morning, everyone, and hope you're having a good day so far. Today, we're going to be talking about the different ads that keep following you on the internet. We will cover the main marketing digital channels, and then we'll talk briefly about the technical aspects of retargeting, how to set it up. And then Emily will join us later on, and we'll talk about the tools that you could use in your retargeting ad campaigns in order to increase the leads and sales and grow your business. Before I get started, I'd like to briefly introduce SCORE, who don't know who SCORE is. We are a nationwide nonprofit organization. We are an independent resource partner of the SBA. SCORE provides small businesses in the United States and its territories free confidential business mentoring face-to-face, as well as through video conferencing and email. We also provide business education services such as workshops that are local and webinars online right now with COVID, similar to what we're doing right now. We have over 300 chapters across the nation, 11,000 plus volunteers, as well as we serve over 1,500 communities. We've been around since 1964, so that's 56 years strong, and we've serviced over 10 million clients and small businesses in the USA and its territories. We could support you through your entire life cycle for your business, so starting from the research and planning to opening and starting a business, growing it, as well as going through an exit. And all our mentoring services are free, personalized, and confidential. And if you don't have currently a SCORE mentor, you could easily request one by filing an application on score.org. And within a week's time, you'll be contacted by one of our mentors to schedule a meeting with you. I'd like to take a few seconds also to recognize our sponsors, because without them, we can't offer all these services for free. And also our community partners, including Gale and the Longboat Key Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so digital channels, what are they? Anybody that has a website probably has Google Analytics hooked up to it. And if you've used Google Analytics, you've probably seen this pie chart. Google likes to divide the different traffic that comes to your website based on the different digital channels that they come through. Some of these channels include, for instance, paid search. You're probably familiar with pay-per-click through Google or Bing. That's considered a paid channel. Organic search, that's what comes organically by people doing searches on their browsers and finding you on Google or on Bing. That's called organic traffic. Email, we've all used email. If you include a link inside an email and somebody clicks on it and they come and visit your website, that's traffic that's coming through email. That's considered email digital channel. Direct is when people go to a browser and directly type in your domain name, your URL to visit your website. That is direct traffic. Social is everything that comes from the different social media platforms like LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. And then referral, this is traffic that comes from other website to your website. So another website cites your website and there's a link and people click on that link and they come and visit you at your website. That is considered referral traffic. We're going to delve into the details of each one of these, and we'll start with organic search. Organic search, that is the holy grail of digital marketing. Everybody loves organic traffic. That's the inbound marketing. People find you through the different search engines. People love it because of the perception that it is free. And the way to get people to find you online is by having a strong content strategy. So your content strategy has to revolve around your value proposition and particularly around your unique selling proposition. What is it that is unique about you that will propel you to that first page of a search engine? And typically when you create your content, you want it to be driven by keywords. I tell my SCORE clients the keywords should be the DNA of your content. Keywords are extremely important because that's what people are using when they go to a search engine. They type those keywords in the search engine to find the necessary content that they seek. And if your content shows up on that first page of Google or Bing and people click on it, they will land on your site, and that's what's considered an organic traffic. And the way you maximize that traffic is by maximizing the amount of content that targets your target audience, and that is the purchaser, the influencer, and the end user. So you want to target each of those groups. You want to use the keywords that each of those groups use, and you want to search engine optimize that content in order to give it the maximum chance to show up on that first page of the search engine, because more than 99% of the organic traffic comes through the first page of search engines. So organic traffic, extremely important. The next channel is referral. This is when other websites cite your content and link to it. And you could improve your referral traffic by proactively pursuing link building strategies. That's what we call backlinking, getting other domains and other websites to link back to your website. The best way to do that is to paint yourself as a thought leader. So you want to create a lot of thought-provoking content that gets people to reference it, cite it, and then link to it. That's the best way to create referral traffic and backlinks. And what's also important, not just the traffic that comes through these referring sites, but also the fact that you have these backlinks. Search engines tend to notice the fact that other high authority domains are linking to your domain, and that's what elevates the authority of your own domain. Why is that important? It's because when your domain authority increases, it's like a rising tide. It will raise the ranking and the authority of all your pages. So you'll stand a much better chance for your pages to rank on the first page of Google and Bing. Next is direct. Direct traffic is when you go to a browser and type in the URL or the domain of the website directly. This is a function of brand building. So for instance, if you want to get a mentor, people go to score.org. They may remember our domain. If you want to check out the local news, you may go to yourobserver.com. You remember that domain. It's a function of building that brand. And you want to continue to build the brand of your company and of your domain. Also, you could encourage people to bookmark your domain. That tends to drive direct traffic. And very importantly, you want to have a memorable domain that's easy to remember and that is easy to type. And typically what I tell my SCORE clients is try to find a domain that's within 6 syllables. So for instance, yourobserver.com is 4 syllables. SCORE is 1 syllable. So try to stay within 6 syllables and try to use .com if you're a commercial entity. Social media, we all know what that is. Social media is garnering a lot of eyeballs and a lot of time these days. People with their smartphone or tablets, they're constantly visiting their social media pages. And that's why social media is becoming very important. If you want to target your audience on social media, you need to know who that target audience is. And social media gives you a lot of tools and abilities to be able to hone in on that target market. So not only you want to target your market demographically based, for instance, on geographical location, on age or gender or economic ability, but also you want to be able to target your market based on their psychographics. And with social media, because they monitor our social behavior and capture a lot of data about social behavior, they give us the ability to target our target audience very precisely. So you don't have to cast a very wide net when you're targeting people, such as right now on TV or radio ads. You could very specifically pinpoint what target audience you want to go after with social media advertising, and then target them specifically with your ads. The other nice thing about social media is the fact that you could scale significantly. With Facebook and Instagram, they have 75% of the social media advertising revenues worldwide. The amount of people that are on these platforms is just mind-boggling. With Facebook and Instagram, over 2 billion people, I believe, with over 100 million people in the United States. Same thing, you get a huge audience on Twitter, LinkedIn, many other platforms. So your ability to scale on these platforms is significant. Email is the next channel, and with email, we've been using it for quite some time. People may think it's not as effective as it used to be because of the spam filters and the fact that people are being deluged with a lot of emails, but it continues to be one of the most effective and least costly channels. And my recommendation is for everybody that is doing any kind of digital marketing to continue to pursue email marketing. Obviously, with email, it's very important that you collect the leads and the contacts, whether they are prospective clients or clients, into your CRM or your email database, such as, for instance, MailChimp or Constant Contact or HubSpot. And what you want to do is over time nurture these leads and nurture your clients via drip campaigns or workflow email campaigns, so that you could move them closer to becoming clients, and for your existing clients to be able to cross-sell to them or upsell them with your products and services. Email, again, it continues to create the best return on investment, and it is still a great strategy to pursue. The last channel that I want to talk about is paid advertising. Most of you are very familiar with pay-per-click campaigns with Google and with Bing. You've probably done some ad posts on Facebook, Instagram, and others by posting content and boosting it, or specifically advertising through it. And today we're talking a little more about retargeting. What is retargeting and how to create retargeting ad campaigns and why they are very useful. So overall, your digital marketing strategy involves multiple channels. I like to call that your engine of growth, and each of those channels is a cylinder in those engines, and you want all your cylinders firing. So you want to involve as many of these channels as possible. And their purpose is to create traffic that drives people to your website. These people, as they come to your website, you want to create a process that will convert them into leads by capturing their names, their email addresses, potentially their telephone number, and additional information about them if possible. And then obviously convert the leads to clients. If you have an e-commerce site, you may be trying to get them to purchase your product as soon as they land or shortly after they land on your website. So what you're trying to do is with your advertising is create attention. Once that attention is created, you want to pique their interest with the content that's on your website. Then what you want to do is work on creating the desire for them to acquire your product, and then make them act and actually purchase your product. So the IDA concept, attention, interest, desire, action, applies here with your marketing campaigns and through the process with your website. Having captured the leads, you could nurture these leads going forward. But the question remains is what happened to the large majority of the people that visited your website and then decided not to give you their information and then leave, right? So that's a huge percentage of the people that actually come to your website. What do you do with that traffic? And that's where retargeting comes into play. So how does retargeting work? It's basically pixel-based. It's based on JavaScript snippets that you embed inside of your website that would help the different channels that drew that traffic into your website to track the movement of these people through your website and out of your website, so that they have a much better idea of who they are and give you that ability to retarget them. And the way you do that is obviously you're retargeting the people that you've captured through your email campaigns, but all the others, what you have to do is install these JavaScript snippets into your website. That could be easily done by your webmaster. So for instance, you may have the Google Analytics tracking code embedded or the Bing UET tag embedded. Facebook and Instagram have their pixel, same for Twitter and Snapchat. LinkedIn has an insight tag. And as you embed these codes in your website, when people come either from Google having logged in into their Gmail accounts, for instance, or they come from Facebook having logged in into Facebook, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter know exactly who these people are because they've already logged in into their platforms. And they keep huge amount of data about them. And they give you then the ability to retarget that audience through their platforms by advertising on their platform or through any network of advertisers that they work with in order to enable you to retarget that audience. Now, why does retargeting work? The most important aspect of it is probably the wow factor. Somebody comes and visits your website, a couple of days later, they're checking their Yahoo mail, or they're going on yourobserver.com to check the news, or visiting some other websites, and then they see your ads pop up again. The first impression that they're going to have is like, wow, I just visited this website. I just reviewed that product a couple of days ago. It's interesting that they're advertising here as well. So that's the first element. Second element is it gives you the opportunity to reinforce your brand message. It's not enough just to have one touch with people that visit your website. It's important to have multiple touches, maybe as much as 3 to 5 before that brand is ingrained in their brain, before they may decide to act on their desire and potentially go back and purchase that product. So it gives you the opportunity to do that through retargeting ads. Also, it is targeting a much smaller audience. You're no longer casting a very wide net in order to attract multiple people. You're targeting only the people that actually did visit your website. So because it's a narrow audience, it's a lower cost, and because it's lower cost, it's usually higher return on investment. And then last but not least, you've already drawn their attention and you piqued their interest when they visited your website. retargeting enables you to focus on the desire and action part of your advertising. So it becomes a lot more focused and targeted in terms of your ability to capture them and make them act. With that, I'd like to get out of this session and turn it over to Emily. Emily, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Nabil. Everyone can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Nabil was giving you kind of the nuts and bolts of site retargeting, and I thought I'd go into a little bit more detail on how it can help grow your business, increase sales, drive more leads, and as Nabil talked about, drive traffic to your website. So I thought I'd just give you an agenda of what we're going to talk about. First, Gail did a great job of introducing us, the Observer Media Group. We're going to talk about how you can re-engage your potential customers. Well, Nabil talked a little bit about the AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. So we'll go into the digital buying journey of your customers. I'll give you some real life examples, talk about some complementary digital ad tactics and some best practices. And then if we have time, we'll do some Q&A. So as Gail mentioned, we're a family-owned and operated multimedia company. We were formed in 1995 with the acquisition of the Longboat Observer. But the Longboat Observer actually was started in 1978 by another family, Ralph and Claire Hunter, and their daughter Janet. So we've been around for 42 years on Longboat Key, and as Gail mentioned, proud partners of the Longboat Key Chamber of Commerce. So let's just go into site retargeting. So site retargeting is a form of programmatic display advertising, digital advertising. And there's all sorts of different kinds of targeting you can do. You can do behavioral targeting. So that's what people are, how they act on the internet. You can target, so if someone likes sailing, you can target people who like sailing. You can do search targeting, which Nabil touched on with Google and Bing. You can do content targeting. So if people are specifically reading real estate content, you can target those people who like to read about real estate content, and geo targeting, which you can target specific zip codes or locations. So today we're going to focus on site retargeting, which is the most powerful form of targeting. And I'm pretty sure most of you have experienced it, which is why we called this presentation, "Why Are These Ads Following Me Around the Internet?" So how retargeting works. So website visitors who are retargeted with display ads are 70% more likely to convert on a retailer's website or on a business's website. Pretty powerful. And retargeted customers are also 3 times as likely to click on your ad than people who haven't interacted with your product, business, or brand before. The other thing about retargeting is we can track all sorts of pertinent and useful information, such as even when someone saw your ads but didn't click on them, but came to your website later. So it has really powerful tracking tools. And then we can make sure that those people who didn't click on your ad but came to your website later, we're going to show them one of your digital display ads again as they're moving around the internet. So here's an example. So say you're in the market for a new pair of running shoes and you go to a local shoe retailer's website to check out their selections. Later on in the week, you're perusing your favorite websites like CNN.com. As Nabil mentioned a lot, we hope you're on yourobserver.com, weather.com, and other websites. And that local shoe store retargets you with an ad with a special offer for those shoes you were looking at. You're much more likely to click on that ad and convert since you've already shown interest and intent on being on that website. So as Nabil talked about AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action, mapping your customer's journey can help you identify where to spend marketing dollars. What digital sources do people consult along the path to purchase your product or service? Site retargeting can assist in pushing customers along that journey when they are getting closer to conversions or purchase. So, and as on this slide, site retargeting helps in awareness, interest, intent, purchase, and loyalty. It can be used for all of those things along your customer's digital buying journey. Here's another example. So our executive editor likes to bike to work. today would not be the day to do that. But she's obsessed with cycling. It's her passion. So last summer she was watching the Tour de France and she saw a really cool bike. So what does she do next? She Googles it. Then she goes to their website. What happens a day later? She served an ad on her favorite cooking website about that bike. And a couple of days later, she's on Facebook, and what does she see? The bike. A week after that, she gets an email that the bike is on sale, and she buys it. There were at least 6 interactions with that influence that decision. And site retargeting is part of that process, also with a few other advertising tactics. So that's why it's important that site retargeting is powerful, but it's even more powerful when coupled with other digital marketing tactics, like Nabil pointed out in his presentation, all the different digital marketing aspects. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention print, because print is important too. As Nabil said, if you want direct traffic to your website, you need to build your brand, and print is great at building brand. But today's presentation is about digital marketing, so we'll focus on the digital marketing processes. And as you can see, there's so many multiple touch points you can use in digital marketing along that buying process. If you use additional digital marketing tactics, it helps move your clients down that purchasing funnel. So two different marketing tactics that really complement site retargeting: search marketing. So 80% of local consumers use search to find local businesses and products. And email marketing. Email marketing can create urgency with a special offer. So thinking about our editor, would she have bought the bike if it hadn't have been part of a site retargeting campaign? Maybe. Would she have bought it if she hadn't seen it when she Googled it? Less likely. What about the email she received with the special offer? Would she have bought it? Maybe, but probably not as quickly. So you can see how those things helped the whole digital marketing campaign. So that's what I want you to think about, those important steps in your customer's journey to help you assess where you allocate your marketing dollars. So now I'm going to give you some real life examples, and you're going to get to know me really well. So here's just happened to me last week. So on the very left of this slide, my sister-in-law sent me an email saying, "Oh my gosh, you need this purse. It's so cute." So I'm like, "Oh, I agree. How a purse with like headlines on it. It's so cute." So newspaper purse, of course. So I click on the email and I went to their website, as you can see on the screen. And they also have a pair of boots with the headlines on it. So cute. So I went to their website and looked at it, but I didn't buy it. And so then, as you can see the other examples, so then Steve Madden followed me to Facebook and also to Instagram, showing me not only did they have headline boots, a purse, they had high heels, and a mask. And I bought the mask. So it shows you that, originally I went to their website for the purse, but I ended up buying the mask. So that's a real life example of getting me down all the way through the purchasing funnel. Now this, they haven't gotten me yet, but so a friend of mine texted me and he said, "You have to go on this website, firstleaf.com, and do this wine quiz and tell me if the wines that you got are wines that you actually would drink and buy." So I did it. And again, this was interesting because this is a little different tactic. So the First Leaf company did not follow me around the internet. However, 3 of their competitors targeted me on my behavior of visiting this wine website. They knew I was interested in wine. And so 3 competitors targeted me on Facebook. I think those are all on Facebook, to try and get me to go to their websites and look at their offers and their clubs, which I thought was really interesting and is another digital marketing tactic. So what are, best, if you're going to run a retargeting campaign, what are the best practices when you're putting together these campaigns? Number one, you want to make sure that when you're doing digital display that you ask for above the fold placement. So that's when you go to a website, your ad should be seen right at the top. It shouldn't be underneath the fold. You shouldn't have to scroll down to see your ad. You want to target, the top websites that are out there. We at the Observer, we can, as Nabil was talking about, that pixel that you put on your website, we can help you do that. We have our digital, our webmasters, they can help place those pixels on your website, and the JavaScript, if that's too techy for you, that's what we're here to do. We can help you do that. And so when we run campaigns, we target the top 5,000 websites on Quantcast and also Comcore's 1,000 top websites. And then we've also found that if you run your ad between 5 and 12 a.m. local time, wherever you're targeting your customers, it performs the best. And the best thing about retargeting is really looking at the reporting. You want to look at how many impressions were served, what websites they were served on, what your click-through rate was. And then usually people always ask, like how, what kind of a budget are you talking here? And generally we suggest to our clients that, an average of about $1,200 a month will run a really nice site retargeting campaign for you. So that is all I have. And I thought that we could move it over to questions. And I didn't know if Nabil, you're looking at and Gail, you're looking at the Zoom, if there are any questions in the chat, or Nabil, if you had questions for me, or I can ask you questions.
So Emily, this is Gail. I want to ask you a question. How did the competitor wine company know that you were on another wine site so that they could come find you?
So as Nabil mentioned, I'm a Google user. I have Gmail. I'm also a Facebook user, as much as I don't want to be, but we're all addicted, right? So Google and Facebook have stored my information. They know all these things about me. They know how I travel around the internet. And so the wine company can say to someone like the Observer, say, hey, I know that Emily went to Total Wine, but I have a local wine shop and I want her to come to my wine shop instead of Total Wine. And so we can say, okay, we're going to target people in Sarasota, females, 45 to 65 who like wine. So there's all this information out there on the internet where we can target specifically by behavior, sex, age, geolocation. It's kind of scary, but the thing is that it really does work for your business. As I showed you, I may have thought I was going to buy that purse, but I bought the mask, but I still bought something from them.
So I get it now. I will go to websites and then I'll see on the right hand side of my screen, I'll see something about that website, whatever it's shoes or whatever. But then I've just been noticing in the last couple of months that now I'm seeing it when I go to Facebook, which I don't know that I ever put the two together before. But I'm going on Facebook then, and instead of clicking that ad on the right side of my computer screen, I am clicking the Facebook ad. And then I'm scrolling through all the other products that they offer. So I am finding myself actually going on and then purchasing a product off of Facebook on my phone.
Correct.
So it all begins to make sense to me how all of that is happening. That is just fascinating.
Yeah. So with site retargeting, we can follow you around the internet. That is basically what we're doing. We know where you go and what you do on the internet, and we'll make sure that ad follows you wherever you go.
Are there any predictions about what's going to happen 5 years from now? Anything about this becoming any different, or drilling down even more into the population?
I literally got an email late last night, and from a colleague, and I haven't even read it yet to look into it. But apparently, we can already do that in OTT television, which is over the top, which is like your streaming services like Netflix, Roku, Hulu. We can stream or we can target through OTT networks services. But I just got an email yesterday saying that broadcast and cable is going to have the capabilities to retarget people. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I don't know. They have some eyeballs looking at you in your living rooms. I don't know, but I'm sure it will just get more and more technical. And I don't know if Nabil has anything to add to that question.
If you don't
Bill,
mind.
do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I didn't hear the question. It didn't come through virtually. What's the question again, please? I still can't hear. We can't hear.
Oh, Gail asked if in 5 years, what is the digital marketing scope going to look like? How is retargeting going to change, or what are new trends that are emerging in 5 years?
Yes, that's an interesting question. You know, retargeting existed for quite some time. I mean, if I recall correctly, it's been going on for at least 15, maybe more years. The tools have improved significantly in enabling people to retarget a lot more accurately. And I think that trend is going to continue. So, I mean, ideally, what we'd like to see is the ability for marketers to reach individuals a lot more precisely than we're reaching them right now. Social media does give us a lot of tools to know who the target audience is, but to some extent, it's still kind of not extremely accurate. I think that accuracy is going to improve over time with the artificial intelligence tools that these companies are embedding into their solutions. So I think it's only going to make these campaigns more effective, increase the return on investment significantly more, and provide tools to enable, hopefully, a lot of the small businesses, those are listening to us right now, giving you the tools so that you could use them a lot more effectively without having to wonder how things work or who you have to contact in order to get these campaigns working.
So either Nabil or Emily, I have a question. Can smart TVs hear conversations targeting ads? And then I add to that, Alexa.
Great question. I don't know if you've seen the movie Social Dilemma. It's a documentary on Netflix, but you should watch it because it's a little disturbing. But again, the information that the big tech companies have on us is incredible, which is disturbing personally. But on the business side, as Nabil mentioned, with artificial intelligence, it's really effective for business side, for advertising and marketing. So it's a double-edged sword for me. I'm like, I don't want them to know all this stuff about me, but at the same time, I'm helping all of you small businesses reach me. So it's interesting. Now, I don't think smart TVs can hear you. Alexa is definitely listening to you. Your phones are definitely listening to you. I feel like Facebook is definitely listening to you because there have been specific instances where I've been having conversations with friends, and then the next thing I know, I go onto Facebook and then there's an ad for something we were just talking about. So Nabil, that is not a scientific or answer. Like I don't know technically, but that's just my own personal experience.
Yeah, and I could tell you with technology today, it definitely exists to a point where it gives these companies the ability to listen, and we know many of them are listening. Alexa and Siri and Google Home, they're all listening. I mean, these devices, that's what they're programmed to do, listen to you as you speak so they could activate when you need them to. And I'm pretty sure these companies are storing troves of data, and with big data technology available today and AI tools, at some point they'd be able to pick the necessary information and target specific audience. It is a double-edged sword. As a consumer, you may want to be protected and have these devices turned off. But as a business executive, particularly marketing people, I mean, this is a gold rush to us, right? So we could target people very specifically and hit them exactly where we want to hit them.
So my Alexa even calls me Gail.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
She came on the other day and said she was now going to call. When she ended her messages about like, how's the weather today? She'd say, and good morning, Gail.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Just make sure you don't call her.
I don't see any more questions in here. But we thank all of you for coming in. I've learned a lot. I hope you have too. Let me give you just one more commercial for the Observer. The Longboat Key Chamber advertises for the drive market, bringing people to Longboat Key during the summer. And for the last 2 years, we've been advertising in the Observer's East Coast papers. And it brings when we retarget, and as soon as we do it, as soon as the ad hits, we immediately see an enormous emails from the other coast or phone calls. So I just want you to know that it works, and that what we've been doing with the Observer works really well. So I just want to give them a little plug so that you know that it's a really good place to advertise whatever your product or service is. I know it's really been great for us. We really appreciate that partnership too.
Thank you, Gail.
So if there's nothing else, then we again thank our speakers, Emily and Nabil. We really appreciate your doing this for us. And if you have any questions after this is over, and you can always email me and I can direct those questions to either Emily or Nabil. So again, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gail.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.